That thing right there is starting to turn out really, really good. As you can see in between episodes here, I've been working with coffee to get our volcano up around our goat farm here, and that thing is turning out really, really nice. So hello anyone, everyone and no one. My name is SlackLizard and welcome back to Let's Play Bedrock. And as I was saying there, we've been working on getting our volcano in place so that we have our goat farm nice and covered up. And as you can see, the vast majority of that thing is in. Time lapse will be coming in a future episode of all of that, but today on Let's Play Bedrock, we're going to be working inside of our volcano here. As you can see, there is our portal to King Goat Farm, and since the last episode, I have made another addition unto this area. As you can see here, we now have ourselves a kelp farm, which is going to be used to power fuel into our nope, that's not smokers, blast furnaces over there to smelt down the swords on our goat farm. Now, the reason we're going to be needing to smelt down all the swords is so that we can maximize our goat outputs, because here soon I would like to start laying out where our castle is going to be going over here around our iron farm, and I want to use quite a bit of blackstone for that build, which means we're going to need a barter farm in the future. But in order to get that done, we need this up and operational. Now, if I jump down here, you can see that we have a few smokers on this thing, and it is chucking out kelp at a pretty good pace. The only problem we have at this moment in time is that it is not keeping up very well. I started off with 2 smokers in here with all of the lines feeding into it, and as you can see, it backed up. So I thought, hey, I'll add in an additional one. Still backing up. I think we're going to have to add in even another smoker into the mix here and see if that is enough to keep this thing in check, because this thing actually, for its size, puts out quite a bit more kelp than I thought it was going to put out. And my original plan was to scale this thing up, and I don't think we're going to have to. I mean, we've got, if we count both of these as one module, we got 1, 2, 3, 4 modules, 8, 12 modules of this all feeding over there. So I think first things first today is we need to make ourselves a couple more smokers and see if we can organize that out just a little bit better in the way of smelting down all that kelp. So let's go ahead and grab ourselves 4 more of those right there, and grab that, and as a matter of fact, throw that back into there. We're not going to waste those. Let's grab spruce instead. All of you into smokers. We should have hoppers right there. Good. And we got chests right there. We're going to have to come down here and I think totally change out how all this is going to work back here. First things first, though, is we're going to need a little bit more room in order to deal with this. Let's also grab up some of this packed ice, because I went and gathered some of that. Let's gather up some regular ice, and let's turn that into blue ice. This is going to be really, really interesting, because I want this thing to be self-feeding, aka I want the kelp to end up coming out, going into auto crafters, and I would like for, after it does that, for it to come back out, spin out, go back over the input lines feeding into the smokers so that it can self-sustain fuel itself. And then from there, once it reaches the end, if all these smokers are full of fuel, I would like for it then to take that excess fuel, run it up around and over to the smelters that are over there, which means what we currently have in place is definitely not going to work, and it's going to take a bit of improvising to get this to work. I should probably actually take the time to design this in creative, but where would the fun in that be? Also, stone bricks, raw fuel, kelp coming out this way. Bring over and drop down into our first smelter array, which we're going to say is going to be right here. Actually, I want to drop that down so we only have one buffer hopper. Right now we have 2 hoppers going into that, and I only want to have 1 buffer hopper. So if we put our first smoker right here, that leaves us... Actually, that leaves us no room for buffer hoppers. Let's take that back down 1 block. That will be our first one. Take this out, take this out. That puts me back exactly where I just was. That didn't help me in that situation at all. Okay, you there. If you're 1 up above that, you're going to be in the right position. Now, our fuel input is going to be in the front. Our smelted item is going to be right there. Now, with feeding our fuel back onto this system, this is where we're going to need ice roads, because we need to spit the item up, have it hit an ice road, and come across. But we don't need it to hang up here, so if I do multiple rows of hoppers, if I do this too close, it's going to be a problem. So let's try to place these 2 apart. That would give us the option to put water right here, have it flow across. I don't think that's going to work neither. Maybe 3 apart. This is suddenly going to get a lot trickier than I had thought in my head. I could do hopper minecarts underneath the ice. Do I have the room? Potentially if I move the hopper clock. But then I'm doubling up the amount of storage that I'm doing. But it would be a lot faster system. I think suddenly that's a lot better idea. So you would be a hopper minecart sitting on top of that. So now my ice road is there. And we're running right beside this. That is still perfectly fine. Which now in return means I could put these closer. Let's do these at 1 block spaces. Fuel input going into the front of each of those. We need ourselves a walking path for now across the front here. We'll do that. Input, input. Boom, boom. Boom and boom. And where did you go? You and you. You and you will be direct fuel input. No, not direct fuel, but direct item input. Go ahead and lock all these in. We don't need to see any of that. Don't need that. Excuse me, tree. Can I get you to get out of my way? And let's get a torch on this so we can see what in the world we're doing. And then let's continue our ice road all the way across this. And then I want to chuck a hopper going into that. Please tell me you're not grabbing nothing out of nothing up there. Good. You're not. Give me that back. And then we're going to continue this line all the way over this way, which will in turn go over that way and then connect all the way up to that. Interesting. All of you will spit directly out, which will take all these to auto crafters, which honestly, if that's the case, let's just take these back out real quick. You can go straight down. Excuse me. Yep, that's right. All of you can walk into each other that way. So now when they all come out, every piece of dried kelp will end up inside of this. I need to clear up my inventory here, get rid of some of this stuff. And from here, we need an auto crafter setup, which we should have inside of our redstone box, hopefully, maybe. Well, we got a dropper. We just need iron and redstone, which we got there and there. And 1 auto crafter. And 1 observer, auto crafter, hoppers, 2 comparators. You have that. Nope, not an observer looking that way. We need an observer looking that way. Comparator, hopper, break that hopper, and place that hopper going there. And then you have 1 item going back and forth. And if I were to temporarily throw that right there, and we were to grab some of this, chuck this into here, you should start making kelp blocks. Good. Now let's grab ourselves another dropper. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 powered rails, piece of soul sand, some glass, some buttons, 6 hopper minecarts. Gonna need back those 2 comparators. And we should be able to now put an auto dropper right along there. drop our items into a bubble column. Then proceed to take that straight up top and feed that into this, which means we need to block off all this, run this all the way down through here, fill all this up with ice, break all this back down. Boom, there's our bubble column coming up. Put a piece of glass there to prevent the items from shooting out like crazy. Let's drop ourselves a button there. Another piece of ice there. Keep walking that all the way across. Button, ice. That should more or less catch all of our kelp. The only thing we need to do now is put in powered rails here. Excuse me, I said not there. But there, hopper minecart, bada bing, bada boom. Take a signal out of view, loop that back around into the block, put that into reverse. Boom, boom, boom. Another block there. You can have the torch where that's auto lit. And it's a little bit on the jank. But if we do this, followed up by that, and that, let's break this. Yep, well, you kind of did what I wanted, but not quite yet. Excuse me. You go there and you go there. Then you have all that. That should... everything's fine. Be going up here. Landing inside this first one. It's going to take it a bit. But... bad thing is I can't really see this. Yep, we got fuel there. Then it should back this. Once all those back up, it'll back up the hopper minecart. And then once the hopper minecart backs up, it'll back up the rest of the system. So let's break this, break that. All this is about to get broke. We're going to break everything. You take all the full kelp. You take all of the kelp that needs to be made into blocks. And now let's... goodness gracious, break that, break that, break that, break that, break that, break that. We're making a complete disaster here. Pick up all this into there. And feed this line all the way over to that there. And now this furnace should kick off at any moment. There we go. This one currently doesn't have any fuel. We're going to help it get started by adding a bit into that one and a bit into that one, because this one will backlog relatively quickly, I'm willing to bet. And we're going to grab some of this just to help it get started. Where are we at on this first one? Not completely backlogged yet. Yep, it should grab it pretty much every time right now. This thing is going to have to produce more than it outputs to get going. Or rather, we're going to probably have to help it. I don't know. It's a very, very smart system at this moment in time. But can it sustain itself given time? Also, throw in at the end here of our overflow double chest just to see where we're going to be to monitor everything. Okay, now I don't doubt this thing's ability to self-sustain. Not at all, but I want to help its abilities to self-sustain. So we're going to grab some of this coal here. We're going to break it down. And I think even out here, whoa, that hurt just a little bit. We have some more. Oh yeah, look at that. Plenty of coal there. Give me that. And give me that. Now, I went ahead and grabbed all the kelp that I could out of this. And if we come over here, it just cycled off. I just heard it. As you can see, this is all going to backlog. It's going to completely fill. So now it's going to move to that one, which will completely fill this one up, which is now full, which is now going to go to this one, which should completely fill this one up. Boom. And means we're going to move into this one, which is already filled up. So we're going to add in some fuel. And fuel and fuel. We're actually going to get overflow at this moment in time because these did not have enough fuel to sustain the startup sequence. So we're adding in some extra fuel to get things going after the first 3 to see how many of these things it's going to take to run, because it's going to take it a little bit of time to backlog enough fuel to fill these up to find out where our magic number is going to be. But as you can see, with multiples running now, we're going to be spitting out a kelp block quite sooner than we were with just 1 in there. There goes another one. If we come down here and watch this, there's 6, 7, 8. There goes another one. Full, not full, not full. So we're waiting for another cycle. And while we're waiting, let's just go ahead and head over here. See if we had any extra kelp left over here out of curiosity to throw into the system, which we do. We'll grab that in just a minute, but we're going to also smelt down this raw kelp we got on us, which we are going to be close on fuel. You go, or we're going to be out. One of the two. But the beautiful thing about that is once it fills up everything over there, it will eventually produce excess fuel. Go ahead and give me all that. There you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 stacks of that, and go. Take every bit of that, make that into blocks, and back over we go. Thread the needle. Where did you make it to while I was gone? Have that, have that, have that, have that. You can start having all those. Where are we at down here? Still good on the second one. Still pumping strong into the third one. The fourth one is starting to lose out. So it was the fourth one and the fifth one. So it looks like it's going to be 3 going into 4. Oh yeah, I forgot. It's got to fill up the hopper. It will take time, but it will get there. All right, now while we're waiting on that to become self-sustaining, let's do a little bit of cleanup around here. This needs to go. We need a proper way to get down there, and just a little bit of organizing, because this looks pretty hideous, to be honest. From the outside looking in, I do think I want to, in the next episode, get a train station built right there. And if you have a keen eye, you notice that we have moved the entrance location all the way up from down here to up there. That is because inside of here, I've been flattening all this out in here. And we had hung in some glowberries as well to start lighting up the cavern inside of here. Eventually, I wanted to get some vines, and we'll do some decorating in here and get that all situated out and make all that look better. And real quick, excuse me, thing hanging off the microphone cord and trying to get on my keyboard and right in the way of where I'm trying to move. I don't like you there. Please go somewhere else right now. Stop it. And what I'm talking about is, you know, those little Velcro things that help tie your cords back to organize them. You know, the thing I should probably be using. I'm not. You stay there. Anyways, excuse me. Was there a wandering idiot up here? Hey, you. Do you happen? Excuse me. I'm trying to negotiate with you. I want to see if you possess anything that I would find of interest. I should have knew from the way you just talked to me the answer was going to be no. Don't look at me like that. Now, I warned you. You too. Nope. What? You're the one that brought the guys to my area, okay? Where's your head? Where's the... Excuse me? I was 90% sure that I just seen one of you drop a llama head. Well, I got your head. Anyways, moving on. You can now go in the box with your friends here with the leads. Could have swore we got a llama head out of that. Anyways, coming over here now, if we take a look at what's going on here, we now have kelp in the first 1, 2, 3, and starting into the 4th hopper minecart now. The 5th one and the 6th one, we're still running off of our coal that we put into the system, and we're actually losing ground on those. they are getting where they are not producing or catching any more excess kelp into the system. So it's looking like if we come over here, we're going to have a full 1 there, 2 there, 3 there, and potentially moving into a 4th. So it is going to be about 4. Every now and again, I guess it's when I'm loading and unloading the area in weird ways, we push over into 4, 5, and 6. So I think we're going to leave 4, 5, and 6 in here for just those types of situations. So we still need to, after that, pull all of our random excess kelp blocks out and take them over and pull them into the top of our furnace array onto our goat farm. But we're going to be saving that for the next episode because I have just about run out of time for today's episode, and I am trying one way or another to get back on task here. So I think that's turned out pretty good. We've got a lot of things planned for the next episode and the episode after that, and that's where I'm going to call this one an episode. So if you've enjoyed today's episode of Let's Play Bedrock, make sure to drop a like down below. If you'd like to see more, please consider subscribing. And on that note, I will catch all of you all in the next one. Goodbye, everybody.